All right, welcome back to the Variety Show with Liam here. It has been quite a while since we have done an episode here on this podcast. I'm so sorry. I feel like I've abandoned the show for what seems like almost a year now, but we've come back with a great guest all the way from Scotland. The last time we had a Scottish guest on was in season 1, episode 4, with Peter John Fortes from Jethro Tull, but we have indie folk musician NatiDreddd. Would you like to say a Scottish hello to everyone here listening?
Hello, everybody. I hope you're listening. I hope your ears are tuned in, and I hope you're having a smashing. What day is it today? Tuesday? It's Tuesday. I hope you're having a smashing Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday evening. I've come home from work, so definitely yes.
Good. I'm glad. It's Tuesday afternoon here. It's 12:31 in the afternoon times. So yes, it's going to be a good one. But yes, everybody listening, hello. I hope you're having a smashing day.
Cool. First off, I've always wanted to wonder what is your earliest memories of playing a guitar? Take us back to wee little NatiDreddd back in the day.
Tiny NatiDreddd. Okay, so the first guitar I ever got given was I can't remember. It was a vintage guitar. It was from my uncle Tam, and he'd come down with his big, amazing, beautiful acoustic guitar, and he was playing it. And I was just obsessed. And he showed me the first kind of basic chords, and he showed me how to like read tablature and stuff like that. And I was so fascinated by it, and I picked it up so quickly that the next weekend he came down with a guitar just for me. And that was it. And I think I remember I think I was playing like Green Day songs. Like I was just playing basic power chords. And that is my earliest memory, just sitting in my room after school, making sure nobody was in the room, and just sitting and playing and just enjoying the feeling of having a guitar and being able to play it and have pretty sounds come out, because I kind of sort of knew what I was doing, or I thought I did. But that's my earliest memory, just sitting in my room with a guitar.
I think it sounds like me right now because I have my drum kit here with me, which has been here probably since this year. And yeah, I like to make sure my parents have earplugs or whatever on because I can get quite loud. So,
Oh yeah, drum. There's a difference between like just kind of casually playing the guitar, like an unplugged acoustic guitar, and then just casually playing the drums. There's a difference in noise. Still the same sentiment though.
yeah, thank goodness for e-drums. Otherwise, I reckon my parents would probably kick me out of the house by now, knowing the record that I caused down here.
They're like, Liam, it's 4 a.m. Stop it.
Oh yes. Uh, who influenced your style? Who reckon what musicians did you look up to growing up?
Okay, so when I was younger, I was brought up with soul music. That was kind of what was in my household at all times. So my dad, I mean, if we're going by people who influenced my love of music, it was my dad. My dad let me listen to, Wilson Pickett, and he let me watch The Commitments, which I probably shouldn't have watched at that young an age. Elvis, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, U2, Guns N' Roses. He just let me hear all these amazing artists, and it was the first time. I can't remember how old I was, but I remember he was doing some work in the garden, and he just put on this song by U2. It was Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, but it was with a gospel choir. It was live, and he put it on, and then he disappeared into the garden, and he came back in, and I was quite young, and I was in floods of tears. So he comes in and sees his young daughter crying, and he's like, "Oh God, what's happened?" And I was like, "It's the music." And it was the first time I ever had an emotional response to music. But the people who inspired me are soul musicians. I really, really love Newton Faulkner. He was the reason that I properly picked up a guitar and started writing songs. I love Pink. I love Lady Gaga. I love Etta James. I love such a huge variety of music, and I'm so inspired by everything I listen to that it's impossible to sit and pinpoint them all. But I think that's because I had music injected into me at such a young age that the list is endless.
Fair enough. I would imagine Stuart Anderson probably is in there somewhere, knowing homegrown, obviously. That's just me. Always like to sort of ask Scotland people if they've heard of Big Country or not. Last time wasn't successful, but I'm glad that it's successful this time because it's always in there. It's just always in there.
Oh yeah.
Mm. So, what gets you in the headspace for when you write music? What gets you in the mood? What has to be there?
Okay, so it depends. I'm trying to really put myself in it right now because sometimes, and I suppose any creative person can relate to this, sometimes the creation, whatever it may be, whether it's a painting or a song or a dance or a play, sometimes it just falls out your face and you can't stop it. And you're like, oh God, let's write this down. And you can write a song in like 20 minutes. And other times you've got to really sit and think about a theme and unpack it. And other times you write half of a song and then you have to go back and figure out what it's about. But for me, I like a quiet room, preferably by myself, and a dimly lit room always helps me. I'm a big lover of candles. I'm an absolute slag for a candle. So candlelit, quiet room, and just me and my thoughts. And whilst that might be a dark thought for some people, just sitting in a dark room with nothing but your thoughts, it's a really good way to write for me because I know that anything I'm gonna write is gonna be honest and raw and open for interpretation. But yeah, just the basics: dark room, candle, maybe a cup of tea, maybe a blanket. I'm a simple gal with simple tastes. But headspace wise, that's a tricky one because I I could be at a supermarket, and it's happened before. I could be at a supermarket and a melody or a lyric will come into my head, and like, oh God, and I have to go to my notes app and just quickly write it down. Or it could be when I'm going to sleep. And other times I have to really sit and rack my brain. So um, the headspace can kind of come at any time.
Hmm. Fair enough. I guess we all have our own
Well,
different ways.
some of it can take like time as well. So, for example, I wrote a song called Jacob, which was about my nephew. And at the time, I wrote it for his birthday and he just turned 1. And I was like, I'm going to write a song for his birthday. And then I started writing it and realized he's 1. He hasn't really done anything. Like all he does is sleep and poop and cry. There's not really much to go on. So I had to wait, I think about a year and a half before I wrote the rest of that song. So some of it is just takes time as well.
Fair enough. So, when did he end up getting that song? Was he still one, or was he a bit older?
He was 2 by the time I finished writing it. But I wanted to, it became like a lullaby that was a 3-part story of his life so far. But yeah, I was writing the song and it was like, little shoes, little socks and baby blues and all this stuff that happens when a newborn is born. And I was like, oh, cutesy, cutesy, cutesy. And then it started to delve into the story of my sister and the struggles of being a single parent and, how this little baby brought us all together. So I'm glad I took time to write that song. But yeah, sometimes a song can be written in 20 minutes and sometimes it can be a year and a half.
Fair enough. One of the things that always struck me about your personality, and I knew exactly I was going to get this answered, was your fascination with Highland cows. What is it about these mythical creatures of Scotland's wildlife that you are so obsessed with? It just became your icon.
Oh, you mean these things? That cow
Yes,
above my head right
the,
there?
the Highland coos.
The Highland coos. Well, I've sort of figured out that I really like farm animals because like my top 3 animals that I love to death are like cows, ducks, and pigs in no particular order. I just love them. So I love farm animals. But like look at them. Like just look at one. They are big ginger dogs, and everybody loves dogs. And when you meet them, they are just big, lovely, docile creatures. Dangerous, they're big, heavy things with sharp horns that could impale you. But they're just big, soft, fluffy dogs that just want to eat and be brushed. And I just love them. And I love like their shaggy hair, and it looks kind of, I don't know, it looks kind of rock and roll, and you can't really see their, and I relate to it, right? Because, most of the time you can't really see a lot of my face. So maybe I just found a creature that I could relate to. And I said, you know what? That's for me, that's for me. And I, I wish I could show you. I wish I had it set up for you, but like right in front of me are all the cows, and then there are two ornaments of cows, and then there's a cow over there, there's a cow clock there, and then there's a portrait back there, there's cow cushions. They're everywhere, Liam, they're everywhere.
I think the closest thing to me for the Highland Q is the buffalo from the Buffalo Skinners album cover, which also was on my Joker.
I'm loving the set design. I am loving the set dressing you have done today. I feel so welcome.
This is also to a jersey from '93. Yeah, only
yes, and you're wearing
and
you're wearing pajama are those pajama trousers?
Tartan pants.
Amazing. I'm wearing a blanket as well because it's cold today, so we're both comfy. I like that.
Well, maybe it's because I have Scottish heritage within my blood. Which leads me to this little interesting thing that I found out. Was it this week? My parents told me that they finally found out the roots of the Hare family, which is obviously my family. We are from the Argyll Brute Council clan, if you will. We were all shepherds when we moved to Australia, at least my very great family when we moved. So that was like, well, that's certainly interesting. I'll have to tell someone from Scotland for that. And you happen to be that person, sir. You know,
how did it make you feel? Like, were you excited, or were you like, oh yeah, that makes sense?
Oh, fucking hell, I was excited. I've always wanted to know what part of Scotland I'm from, because I've always known for a long time I'm from Scotland, but I never knew where I was from. At first thought it was Ayrshire. That's what I told Peter John Patez last season. And then my dad told me about that. I'm like, oh yeah, that probably makes more sense because I've never heard about it from family. So yeah.
The more you know. Every day's a school day, Liam. Every day.
Yes. Another one of my interesting things that I've always wanted to know, especially when I do get over to Scotland, what are the best places to hike, or what are the best places of natural Scotland that you would recommend to a tourist?
Oh gosh, how much time have you got? Everywhere. So if you've never, so there's these things in Scotland called Munros. There's 282 of them. And you know, some people try to do it in their lifetime. They're just big, giant mountains. A lot of them start with Ben Lomond, Ben Ine, Ben Lawyers, Ben Nevis. Like they, big, huge, giant, just big, beautiful mountains that you climb up, and there's a summit on each one. And it's not a tradition, but it's my tradition that every time you go up there, you take a hip flask with whiskey in it, and you toast to your family, and you have a nip when you get to the top. That's something I personally always do to the family members who are alive and the ones who are no longer with us. I always toast and cheers to them. But yeah, if you don't want to start there, because it can be quite daunting to just go ahead and do a Munro, there is a lovely place in Balmaha called Connick Hill. That's beautiful, and it is the best view of Loch Lomond when you get to the top of there. And sometimes there's Highland cows there just hanging out because you know it's their habitat. Nice. Depending on the time of year you go. And then another one is Arthur's Seat, which is in Edinburgh, and that's quite famous. Arthur's Seat is marginally easier than Connick Hill, because Connick Hill, the beginning of Connick Hill is about 180 steep stairs. So if you don't like stairs, maybe do Arthur's Seat first. So I would say Arthur's Seat, Connick Hill, and then start doing Munros. But the places are endless. I mean, you only have to go to Glencoe, right? It was my favourite place in Scotland. You only have to go to Glencoe, not even climb a hill, just walk up a little steepish hill, not a mountain, and you are just greeted with these almost like hauntingly beautiful views. So yeah, I would say Arthur's Seat, Connick Hill, and then just walk around Glencoe. Just go. You have to. I'm putting you to it now. You have to. And I want photographic evidence.
All right, I won't let you down. What if we told you we pinched the name Arthur's Seat here in Australia?
You pinched it? Why?
We have a mountain across from where the bay here in Port Phillip Bay called Arthur's Seat on the Mornington Peninsula, which has a massive garden maze and a tube slides. So you get on tubes and you slide down.
How did I not? No, I'm such an uncultured swine sometimes. Okay, so that's the deal then. You do Arthur's Seat here, and I'll do Arthur's Seat over there if I ever come over. And that is the promise that we have just made right now because I just said it.
Excellent. Well, you'll certainly love the music life here in Australia. We've got vibrant music life, which leads me to my next question. What is the music scene like for your genre of music back in Scotland? Is it vibrant? Is it diverse? Tell me all you know.
Well, it depends on where you go. I mean, Scotland's music scene is jumping and wild, and the crowds are always insane. But you know, I don't. So I sing Scottish folk music, but when it comes to writing music, it's not very folksy at all. The way I write, it's more modern with like a soul twist, and there's little Celtic folksy elements in there. So it's a mixture of everything. But it really depends like where you go. So if you go to a pub somewhere in Edinburgh or Glasgow and you play modern stuff, the crowd's going to be jumping. If you play folk stuff, the crowd's going to be jumping. But then if you go to like the Isle of Tiree for like the Tiree Music Festival, you can sing nothing but Gaelic songs and they will be loving it. And I know that because I did my first ever Tiree Music Festival this year, and I got there and everybody was already slightly drunk, and I did a Gaelic song and they were singing it back to me. So very accepting, very enthusiastic, and just very excited. That's just Scotland.
Mm, that's a very interesting. Something I did not plan on mentioning, but when my mom mentioned it, when I watched the original version of Mull of Kintyre from the Wings and Paul McCartney, she mentioned that you did a cover of it that she really loved.
Gosh, I did that. Do you know, I remember the day I did that video. So we'd come out of lockdown and I was still in my 9 to 5 job at the time. And it was my first day back at work. And I'd come home and I was like, oh, I just fancy doing like a nice, like pretty song. And that was the day I did Mull of Kintyre. But tell your mum thank you. I'm really glad she likes it because I love that song.
It's also the reason why I do know you in the first place.
Is
Did,
that
did
how
you?
you found me?
It was my mom.
Oh,
She sent me a
well, tell
clip
your
of.
mum thank you. Oh,
She
what's
said,
your mum's name?
"I'll pull her hair."
Paula, thank you so much. You're a legend. Thank you, Paula. Everybody, love for Paula. We love Paula.
Oh, she'll indeed love that. I think there's just something that I found out about. Obviously, the Scottish accent is one of my favorite accents in the world, so I instantly gravitated towards your music. So, no surprise.
Thank you. Yes, my accent is very there when I sing. That's a choice that I make.
Mm. I guess one of my own favorite covers that you've done is you've done two Proclaimers songs. I think you have done. You've done Sunshine Leaf, and I think you've also done Letter from America as well. Correct me
I
if I'm
haven't
wrong.
actually. I've only done No, I haven't. I've done Sunshine on Leith, which was it's one of my favourite covers I've done to date, to be honest with you. Um, but no, I haven't. But now that you've said it, I'm going to have to do it, and I'll dedicate it to you and Paula. So I'll have to do that one now.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, I absolutely love that song. I've got the 10-inch single over just the room down yonder, which usually back
Hmm.
in my old setup at my old house, I would have behind me all my records, all 300 records that I've collected since 2015, 16. Yeah. This is
What have you
only
got? Like, so you've got your record player somewhere in the vicinity, I assume, right? Let's play a game. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. What's in your record player right now?
last time I checked, I think it was Mama by XTC, a Japanese pressing.
Ah,
I
what's
really,
mine?
I really have a peculiar taste.
Mine is no, there's no such thing as peculiar taste when it comes to music, man. Like everybody's music taste should be like varied because
Hmm,
that's just music is like it's for everyone. So mine is Blood Money by Tom Waits. That's what's in there right now. One of my favorite
nice.
Tom Waits albums. I love Tom Waits.
Hmm. I do have something though, big country related that I picked up. I'll be right back. If you don't mind me waiting.
I will talk to the audience and distract them. Hello, everybody. Are you drinking your water today? Are you experiencing weather? Is it nice weather? We have weather here. It's gloomy and windy and grey and cold. Anyway, so yeah, then the vicar said never on a Thursday. So I was just telling a joke to the audience.
Oh, fair enough. When was the last time you saw a cassette?
Last time I saw a cassette. Oh, I have my granddad's old cassette tape player in my house because that was one of the things I got when he passed away. And I moved in December, which is when I was unboxing everything and I looked at it. So I think December, and it was UB40 that was in it.
Woo! Limited edition King of Immersion box cassette from Big Country. Picked it up last week.
Where, what kind of sorcery?
Let's just say I have joined the Big Country fan community on Facebook, and they welcomed me with open arms, and they'll give me anything that I want.
You're some kind of magician, aren't you?
No, I'm just a 20-year-old with music taste that not many people my age have. And they're just like, yeah, we love that. We love that you're continuing on the Big Country spirit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's a lot of people say that to me because I sing a lot of songs by the Corries, and they're like, "I'm glad that you like the Corries." I'm like, "Who doesn't like the Corries?" I think a lot of Scottish people grew up listening to them, even if they didn't realise it. Yeah, the Corries are great.
So yeah, that one's like my calling card, if you will, because I don't think I have anything else limited edition. But maybe no, I don't think this is perhaps probably my rarest Big Country thing, if not counting the VHS stuff, which I also got in the same lot. Anyway,
I'm trying to think of mine. I think mine's would be like one of the original pressings of Thriller by Michael Jackson and the original, but this is just me because it's my favorite musical. It's the original Jesus Christ Superstar on vinyl. I just that's pretty much all I've got. I mean, I don't have Big Country cassette tapes, but that's it's not that cool.
Well, fair enough. I could see you doing chants from Big Country. That's a really nice one to do on acoustic. I know lots of. If you've seen Cousin Addison's page, I know she does a lot of acoustic tunes of her late father, may he rest in peace. Of all of his music, and it sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're hydrating now. I'll hydrate.
yes, we'll hydrate indeed. My rarest record is an original mono press. I think it's the stereo pressing of the White Album by the Beatles. Oh yeah.
Do you have it like in a glass box where no one can touch it?
It's just on a record shelf amongst all my other Beatles stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. So I'm not jealous at all. Not jealous. I'm just gonna squeeze this stress ball. I'm not jealous at all.
I do have another copy, original, all intact copy of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club. You're more than open to it if you wish.
I'm fine. I'm not jealous. I'm fine.
Oh, I'm sure you're fine. I'm sure you're fine.
This poor little Donald Duck's going to get squeezed with an inch of his leg.
Oh, I have a couple of friends just like here and there can do the most spot-on Donald Duck impression. I wish I could do one right now. Just seeing how the Donald Duck squish thing would react to all the squeezing. Like, what the fuck?
I wish I could. I really wish I could. I mean, he's everywhere. Look, he's behind me as well. There's a tiny little Donald. I told you I like ducks.
Ducks. I guess that makes sense. He's probably your favorite Disney character then. Duck,
he's my favorite classic Disney character. My favorite Disney character is Baloo the bear. From the Jungle Book.
Nice. All right, back onto the questions because we went a bit off topic.
We're just getting sidetracked by records and Disney characters. Sorry, right, back to professional mode.
But that's what podcasts are all about. Doesn't have to be about questions. This is what the exciting bit of recording is. Seeing what tangents lie on. The importance of a social media presence, because I study a Bachelor of Screen Media, and I've covered in one of my recent units about having an online presence is important. You know, now these days with social media, important as ever.
Yeah.
What is it to you that makes it important?
It's a good way to engage with people. I think that if you're, a big giant celebrity, maybe you feel like you don't have a connection with your audience or your fan base, whatever it may be. And I feel like it's a good way to engage with your audience and find out what they like and what they want. It's also not to be taken seriously, in my opinion. Like that might be a controversial opinion, but like I'm under no illusion that I'm some big famous celebrity. Like I don't think I'm, you know, Christina Aguilera or Lady Gaga or Cher or something like that. So I any opportunity I can, I will take the piss. I will not take it seriously. I take what I do seriously. I take the music seriously. But when it comes to social media, I feel like a lot of people they they kind of jump the shark and they think they're I don't know. There's just this kind of false like falseness when it comes to social media, and I'm not about it. I don't like it. I don't subscribe to it. So I'm just 100% myself, and I will try and have fun with it because, like, what you're doing is just say you're using it to tell your audience, like the nice people who follow you. You're trying to tell them, I'm going to be playing this show on this date. You're never going to catch me sitting there just going, hello, I have a show. It's going to be spectacular. And I'm going to be doing these songs. Please check it out. No, I wouldn't do that because it's not who I am. So, yeah, every opportunity I can, I try not to take myself and social media too seriously because it's there for fun. It's there to engage.
That's a really valid opinion, and I don't think anyone I've seen at all has an opinion like that. So kudos.
Well, yeah, like everybody's always talking about their Instagram feeds like being pretty and precise and professional looking. And yes, whilst that if you're looking to be picked up by somebody or if you're looking to be noticed by somebody, yeah, that is brilliant. But in terms of like just social media in general, just stop taking yourself so serious. You know what I mean? Like have fun. Otherwise, it's going to become a job to you. You know, it's going to become a chore. It's going to become boring, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about having fun.
I
I'm doing
I
something that I've always wanted to do, so I'm going to have fun with it.
I agreed. I mean, definitely my channel, my vinyl page, my everything that I do, even my radio show that I do on 94.7 The Boss, check it out, is fun. I don't take myself seriously. I goof about. I have fun. So,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I take myself seriously when I'm supposed to. Like
yeah.
I there's a time and a place for it, but if you're just putting a story on Instagram, just just have fun. That's what it's about. You're doing something you've always dreamed you'd do. You're getting to live your dream. Why wouldn't you stop and have fun?
Mm. Something that I've maybe just a bit off tangent, but bit into more natural Scotland. Have you been to Dunringle or around that area, the Isle of Skye?
Maybe no, no, it's not. I'm thinking of somewhere else. No, I have not been to Skye yet.
Mm. My fam
I want to
part
go.
of part of my family, I'm actually related to Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull. Surprise. I mentioned it in the new book, Lend Me Your Ears by Richard Houghton. I found out that he owns a salmon farm on the Isle of Skye for a while during the 80s. He also visited Dunringill, which he got the inspiration for the song Dunringill from the Stormwatch album for Jethro Tull.
Mhm.
Beautiful song on acoustic guitar as well.
Stunning,
Mm.
stunning. Maybe that's where I know it from.
No, I don't. It's not really a well-known tune. It's not like an Aqualung or a Locomotive Breath. You really have to know the band to like be like, oh yeah, that's where that's from. But no, I just think that place is really cool in general. And Jaden, there might have been the off chance that you've been to the Isle of Skye before in your many lives that you have had so far.
Oh, all 738 years of my life. But I would love to go to Skye. It's like a dream of mine. I've just never had the opportunity to go yet. I did go to Tyree though, and that was beautiful. I got burnt to a crisp though. I got burnt to within an inch of my lip. You know how you get sunburn, right? And you get sunburn like on your nose and on your foreheads, maybe on your cheeks or whatever, and your shoulders. No, I got my entire chest was red, but my entire face, like these parts were red. So I love the Isles, but I need to And I was wearing sun cream, so maybe the aisles just don't like me.
Aisles against NatiDreddd. What is this blood come to?
It was the height of summertime. I understand that, but I wore SPF. I was a good girl. I wore SPF and I was drinking water, and I came back and I was like, oh, I'm a bit red. Maybe I'm just out of breath. And I wash off my makeup and I go, oh no, that's just my face. Oh dear,
Oh. So you probably watched a lot
freckles.
of TV in your life, obviously the usual Scotland stuff, Outlander. What do you think of the Scottish representation in The Simpsons groundskeeper Willie? Do you like it or do you hate it?
I don't mind him. I like groundskeeper Willie. He's fun. He's Scottish. He's very proud to be Scottish. The accent leaves a tiny bit to be desired. But I think we like it because it's like, okay, that's a funny, not entirely accurate stereotype. But then when people from other places come and they think that's what we are, then I'm like, Willie, come on now, you're doing us a disservice here. But I don't mind him. He's a groundskeeper. He's just doing his job. He's a man. He loves his country and he's doing his job. I like it. He's
Fair
in
enough.
America. He's in Springfield, right? He's got to put up with the likes of Homer and Chief Wiggum. Like, I can understand why he'd be a bit pissed off. Like, so he's just he's just a Scottish man in America doing his job and he loves his country.
Hmm.
That's it.
I, I actually have a groundskeeper Willie action figure in my cupboard here. It's somewhere in there, but it's next to
I used to be
yeah, it's next to was it Old Man Gill? I've got Troy McClure, I've got Lenny, I've got Mo Lights, the guys from KBBL, and I was forgetting the name of the ones that are in the military antique shop, but I also have a Homer somewhere, but I have no fucking clue where he went to. Probably disappeared.
I used to be terrified of Groundskeeper Willie because there was one like, so you know how The Simpsons do like the Treehouse of Horror episodes, so like the best ones, like the Halloween ones. Do you
Yes.
remember the one where Groundskeeper Willie was like Freddy Krueger and he would kill kids in their dreams?
Yes.
The bit where like he's on fire and he comes into the classroom and he says, "I'll get them where you least expect it," and he says, "In their dreams." That terrified me for a long time, and I don't think I was that young when I saw that either. So yeah, I've got you know, it's a very tumultuous relationship with Groundskeeper.
Oh, I should get it out because it's really cool. I know it's not the best design from the show.
Liam, I swear to God, see if it's Groundskeeper Willie on fire, I'm leaving this call.
No, it's just your regular groundskeeper Willie. Here he is.
Gets these overalls on. Look at him. Look at him.
Surprisingly, for a figure that's made in the early 2000s, they did a fantastic job on it.
Does he have a skullet? Like, could you bring him closer so I can see his hair?
So
Thank you.
there you go.
He does. He has a skullet, or what I like to call a baldy long hair, where he's
Yeah,
bald on the top and then he's got the hair coming out. It's a skullet.
there you go.
It's like a mullet, but with his skull show. Skullet.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
We were talking about groundskeeper Willie. Then I bought out groundskeeper Willie, and then we're just talking about groundskeeper Willie because I bought it up.
And now I'm traumatized again. I'm going to go to sleep tonight and he's going to be there.
Hello, Nati. It's been a long time. Now to kill you.
I'm here to kill you, lassie. No, you're no. I know how this works. Go away.
Oh, cool. Is there any artist whom you haven't covered yet that you would like to cover for your pages?
I feel like I haven't done enough Billie Eilish. And I say that because I'm quite experimental with the softer register of my voice. I don't use it that often. I used to sing in pubs and stuff, and I would sing big, loud, high notes so that people would actually shut up and listen to me. So I haven't experimented with the softer part of my voice, but I've been on a lot of trains recently, and I find listening to her new album, the way it's produced, it's so like soft in the way her voice sounds. It's a very soothing album. And when I need to go to sleep on the train, I put that album on. I think it's called Happier Than Ever. And I would quite like to experiment with her covers, not so I can just be quiet and soft and her voice is beautiful, but to see if I can take it somewhere a bit bigger. Oh, but there's loads though. That was just the first one that popped into my head. I get requests, on the daily, so there's probably something that I see that I go, oh, that's a good idea, actually. I
Fair
don't know.
enough.
Anything and everything, really.
Then mentioning Billie Eilish's softer vocal range almost sounds like you're getting NatiDreddd ASMR.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely. Oh, I can't even begin to tell you how much that album helps me sleep. And not because it's boring. I love the songs and I'll listen to them when I'm awake as well. But if I'm on a long train journey and I need to sleep, I'm like, okay, Billy, do your thing. And I just put my head down.
Oh,
She's like,
yeah.
she's like, no problem, Natalie. I got you.
Mm. It's like I know for my train commutes, I have to come all the way from the end of my line here where I live. I have to go all the way out to Melbourne where I study, and then it takes me like an hour. So I'm just sitting there, just wondering, how long is this gonna take? Do I fall asleep in the train and risk not getting to my stop and getting a couple of minutes in because I have to wake up, reasonably early?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I tried the
yeah,
I tried the musical thing. Like that's another one. I'd love to do a bunch of stuff from musicals on my page more. I think that would be fun. But I tried to do the musical thing where I'm sleeping and I put a musical on, but then I get too invested in it because I know it and I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen? And then I'm just awake.
hmm, fair enough, fair enough. Have you ever considered adding mandolins or any other guitars of more than six strings to your work?
Yes, in the recording process because I'm not confident enough to play a mandolin on stage yet. Um, but yeah, I think that would be something fun. Again, I like to give the way I write is very modern, like I said, and it's got very soul type vocals. But I like adding the kind of folky Celtic twists, and I think instruments like that would be fabulous, or a fiddle, or some kind of woodwind instrument, or yeah, I try and do it right now with like interest in vocal like melodies and stuff, but I would absolutely love to do that. Could you imagine? Like one day I'm on stage and I just whip out a mandolin and they're like, "What? I didn't know she could play that." And I'm like, "Neither did I."
Some guy from Australia told me to add it in.
I just do one note. Like I just go, and for my next track, and I just go ding, 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 ding for the whole song. Just really pleased with myself, just
Uh,
honestly.
hmm,
But yes, no, the answer is yes. I would love to incorporate that, like different sounds into my writing, yeah. Because
hmm,
sometimes that can inspire you. You could sit and play an instrument you're not used to playing, and you just start going ding 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 whatever, and
yeah.
then it inspires the whole feel of a song. It can be built around one instrument. So absolutely, yeah.
I guess again, it comes back to Big Country. They use mandolins a lot, and Sia album. No, wait, they used it across the whole entire discography. They used it because they were trying
Oh
to
yeah,
capture the Gaelic Scottish sound across multiple albums.
it's right through
More,
their albums, yeah.
actually, I think it's more common on the earlier albums, to crossing the Sia and Steeltown. They were mainly heavy there. I think once it got after Peace and Our Time, No Place Like Home, they sort of went for more country based, which is where Buffalo Skinner comes in around the Nashville era.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing about me. I have a lot to know about music, and again, I'm on the spectrum, so hooray for autism spectrum. Yeah, and it's like just having this ability to recall lots of information at a time. Everyone's like, "Wow, you know so much." I'm like, "Thank you."
I mean, music's always been like that for me though. Like I always say, like I eat music for breakfast. You know, the types of people like I'm sure you're like this as well. If you're listening to a song, right, and you're listening to it for the first time, and you hear a phrase or a note or just a little piece of the melody, and you've got like good headphones on, right, and you listen to it, and you have to go back. You're like, whoa, let's go back and listen to that again. What was that? And then you're there, and I'm that annoying person, like, at a house gathering. I'm like, wait, listen to this bit. Listen to this bit. The way it goes. I eat music for breakfast.
Yes,
I
fair
love it.
enough.
It's delicious.
I had that today. There was a song from Squeeze called "Take Me, I'm Yours" from their debut LP, which had this intricate synth bass, and whenever I popped it on the Alexa speaker, I was like, "Wow, this is freaking amazing! This is why I love this music." Just
I swear, I do it all the time, because you know how a lot of people say, like, oh, what's a song you wish you'd written, right? And what's a song that you've heard and you're like, F you, I wish I wrote that, like, screw you for writing such a good song, I wish I'd thought of that. From a very early age, mine has always been Hotel California. Always been that song. It's never changed, even though there's millions of beautiful songs that have been written. It'll never change, because every time, like what you were saying, I put it on, doesn't matter how many times I've listened to it, as soon as I hear those minor notes, I know a story's about to be told, and the story is told all the way through it. He gets there, it's weird, he tries to leave, he accepts his fate. And then the solo at the end, and just, oh my God, it's the finest, like, piece of storytelling with music. Oh, sorry, I just had a moment. What's a song that you wish you wrote?
song I wish I wrote. Well, gosh,
Mm-hmm.
just looking back through my vinyl catalog. Oh, there's a song that I've been listening to called Miracles Out of Nowhere from Kansas. They were an American prog band in the 70s, 80s, 90s, still going to
Mm-hmm.
this day. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful song with this violin melody. I'm like, this is so beautiful. It helped me through a dark time recently when my autism probably got the better of me on social media, which I'm not proud of. It happens at times, which has costed me many, many crucial moments of social media presence. So, yeah, just songs like that really helped me through dark times.
I'm glad. I'm really glad.
Yeah,
So
indeed.
that's the one where you go, I wish I wrote that one.
Yes, that's my wish. That's my wish I wrote. I wish I wrote that song moment. Well, do you have any questions for me at all whatsoever? Anything at all? This is a ask me anything moment.
I couldn't help but notice, Liam, that you are a big fan of Big Country.
I knew this was coming.
I couldn't help but notice, right? I just call it pigeon's instinct. I couldn't help but notice what drew you to them and what speaks to you about them.
Okay, Big Country came to me in probably 2017, 2018. I had a relative who's no longer a part of the family, but I still keep in contact with them. But he
Mm-hmm.
had this massive collection of Big Country CDs, vinyls. He actually gave me this jumper that I'm wearing now, and also gave me this other one for the Journey era of Big Country.
Ah,
Their music to me was basically when Stuart Anderson died in 2001 by suicide in Hawaii. The lead singer from U2 at his service said, Big Country wrote the songs that U2 wish they could. It
yeah.
really says something about the band that they had a quality, that they were kind of the underrated one against U2. U2 were basically like,
Mm-hmm.
what would Big Country be like if they were more commercially successful? If they didn't have
Mm-hmm.
that one hit wonder status to them attached to them like a ball and chain. So it's just like something about Stuart's writing, something about the representation of Scotland, especially in Steeltown, which was all about the Scottish steelworks closing down and how all the Scottish steelworkers had to migrate down to Corby in England.
Yep.
It's such an amazing album, and I'd highly recommend listening to it. There's so many good songs. Come Back to Me,
I
Where
know.
the Rose is Sown. Just oh my god.
I
Great
love it when a
album.
band does that.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to be commercially successful, although I would argue that they are, but they don't have to be like huge, shining stars in the music industry, and yet they still keep going and they still keep changing lives. Like that to me is the sign of an amazing musician. And live, obviously, if a band can play live and they're tight live, that's all you need.
If you've seen any live footage at all of Big Country, you know that they do their shit seriously.
Oh yeah, they take it very seriously. Or okay, one more question then. I suppose it'll be a follow-up question. Have you ever actually been to Scotland?
No, and I'm
Okay.
damned by the end of my life that I at least end up once going.
Okay, so when you do make it to Scotland, what is the first thing you want to do, given all the knowledge you have, given how inspiring it is? Just like you get off the plane or the train, where are you going first? What are you doing?
I'm
Apart from
going.
going to sleep.
I'm going to the Barras. I'm going to Glasgow Barrowlands Ballroom. It's a pretty
The
iconic
sticky
venue.
floor. The
The,
sticky floor.
the Barras Ballroom. That's where Big Country played. Without the aid of Safety Net VHS, they did Homecoming 83, 84 VHS. So many iconic gigs that got made into home media. I wanted to see what this place looks like because it's so iconic amongst the band community. Just, oh my God, I want to see this for myself. And of course, Gone from the Line, where Stuart was born.
I can't wait. Like, see when again, not if, when you do make it to Scotland, I need video footage of your little face when you go in there, just lighting up, just like I'm here.
Yeah, they have a bench dedicated to him with lyrics put on the bench engraved in gold. And there's a mural out in the football field of Stuart himself in one of the stands that a bunch of college students did. I don't know how many years ago it was now, but yeah, beautiful gesture. And I think they named a street after him as well.
Well, remember as well that when you get here, you still have to do Conic Hill or Arthur's Seat. And you have to eat haggis. That's a requirement. And you have to drink Iron Brew. And you have to like it as well. All right, good. What did you think of it?
Absolutely delicious. I always pick it up when I find it.
People always try and get me to describe the taste of it, and it's really hard to describe it. You have to have drank it to understand. It's quite difficult to describe. Someone once said it was like tangy bubblegum pop, and I'm like, I get it, but no.
Someone said it was a highly sugar-based Coca-Cola.
No. It tastes nothing like Coca-Cola. It's like there's two countries in the world where Coca-Cola is not the most consumed beverage. One is Scotland. I don't know what the other one is, but one is Scotland because of Iron Brew. Like, we all love it here.
Interesting. I guess that makes sense, you know. And even
I don't know what the other country is, and I don't know what the drink is, but I just know that we're one of them because of sweet Iron Brew.
Sweet Iron Brew. Oh, I wish I could have a case here right now and open a cold one right now and drink it on the podcast.
Yeah. Do you know the best thing to do, right? When you come to Scotland, again, when, not if, when, you get fish and chips, right? You go to a chippy, go to the chippy in Anstruther, because that is like world famous. So you go to the chippy in Anstruther, you get fish and chips, and if you can get a glass bottle, perfect. But if not, a cold can of Iron Brew with fish and chips. Oh, it's the food of the gods. Oh, it is it changes your life. See if you've had a really, really shitty day, get a chippy, get a can of Iron Brew, go by the seaside. Actually, no, don't go by the seaside because the seagulls will steal your food. Go near the seaside, maybe in a car or by a window, and just eat it and just let the day melt away. It's great. So you have to do that.
I know that from experience. Being in Australia, seagulls are fucking bastards.
Can we just talk, right? Can we just person to person? Seagulls are the devil. They're the devil. They are rats with, I'm not even going to say rats with wings because I like rats. I think rats are lovely and cute. And I love when people have pet rats. I always want to come over and say hello to them. Seagulls are pointless. They are pointless. They don't do anything. They don't contribute anything. All they do is steal our fish. And then they decided that they weren't going to be seagulls anymore. They were going to be everywhere gulls. So they don't just steal your fish. They steal your sandwiches. They steal your stuff from your rubbish bins. They steal everything. And they eat things. They eat rocks. They eat pencils. They eat each other. They're just pointless and stupid. And if someone said to me, if a magic man came over and said, Natalie, we have to get rid of one species and let them go extinct, what would you? Seagulls. I wouldn't even think about it. Seagulls.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I'm passionate. I hate them.
That's fair enough. Have you heard of the ibis?
Of the what, sorry?
The bird, the ibis.
I've heard of it, yeah.
The bin chicken.
Why is it called the bin chicken?
Because in New South Wales, in Australia, there's a whole abundance of bin chickens that's scavenged on little scraps of things from rubbish bins, and they just feast on them, like it's their food.
Oh, I think the reason I have a hatred towards seagulls, apart from everything I've just mentioned, is because in my old house, they would nest on my roof in the summer, and obviously the relentless squawking noise they make, it drives me mad. And it's hot in the summer, so you want to open your windows at night, and then you're up until 5 a.m. because they're going like all night. And then if one of their stupid babies falls from the stupid nest because it can't stupid fly, and you walk past it, they swoop at you. And it's just so sorry, I'm going back on my hatred of seagulls.
I think swooping seagulls is a problem. Try swooping magpies in the spring and summer in Australia. That's hell.
I've heard, because the magpies here, maybe I'm just not going to the right places. The magpies here are lovely and friendly and nice. They just like shiny things. Are they monsters in Australia?
They basically just come in and they go whop when you're riding. 100 miles an hour.
I didn't know that because I mean, the magpies are pretty tame here. Maybe someone from Scotland will tell me otherwise, but I've never had an issue with magpies. They just kind of sit in your garden and they like shiny things. But I didn't know that they were so aggressive in Australia. Like, have they always been that way?
Do you want to know why? Because they think that we're stealing their babies from their trees.
Why do they think that?
I got no idea. So what we have to do is when we're riding bikes, we have to put cable ties in our helmets so they won't swoop.
Oh my God. And what sound does a magpie make?
I've got no idea, but I've seen footage online of a little kid on a scooter being hit by one, and oh my God, I hope he's all right.
I've heard that in Australia there are some birds that make the funniest noises, and that's the only reason I was asking, just in case they make a different noise from here. Yeah. But yeah, I've heard some of your birds make very, very funny noises, and I'm excited to hear them.
Oh yes, the kookaburra is a really iconic one, and just depending on where you go in Australia. When I actually picked up my drum kit, there was a whole stack of them just sitting on a tree.
Better than seagulls, though, right? Better than seagulls.
Better. Oh my God, agreed.
And bin chickens and magpies.
I mean, then again, coming across as 9 out of 10 deadliest animals exist here in Australia, that's pretty frightening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the only thing, and I'm sure everybody says this, but I will admit I am a big wuss, a giant blouse when it comes to spiders. And I've heard that the spiders, so spider here, like a big spider, is like, maybe about this size. Whereas I've heard in Australia, they're like this size.
We had one on our roof of our old house last year.
Mm-hmm.
My dad took a photo of it close up. It looked big. Fucking hell, it's a big boy, hairy, fairy ass motherfucker.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? My sister. Oh, my hair's caught in my ring. My sister had, before she had her son, my nephew, she used to collect. She had like 10 tarantulas in her house. I'm not even kidding you. between 8 and 10 tarantulas, and one of them was called a Goliath bird-eating spider. I should have borrowed it to eat all the seagulls. And I'm like, well, why is that in your house? And I thought, okay, tarantulas, big fluffy things, they're probably slow and I can deal with that. No, no, they're fast, scurrying little things. And she told me this story that I'll never forget. She looked in the cage box jar, whatever, one day, and the spider was like this. All of its legs were up like that, and she was like,
Oh,
"Oh no, it's dead." So she was kind of
oh,
upset because she loves spiders, my sister, and she was really upset. So she opens the thing and she scoops it up, and she's like, "Yep, it's not moving," and she disposes of the spider, and she closes the cage. 2 days later,
the
she's
spiders.
she's putting her top on. What crawls up and under her skin out of this top? But the spider. So what it had done was it had shed its skin. And the shed looked just like the dead, like the spider, and it was dead. So when she opened it to get rid of the dead spider, the spider in question, the imposter, the alive spider, escaped and then just came crawling out of her jaw. Oh, God. Oh, it
Oh,
gives me thinking about it makes me itch. I hate it.
okay. You won't like the Doctor Who story Planet of the Spider. It's the third Doctor's Lost story. It's a massive spider on planet Mabelius 3 that's like, it's CGI'd in, obviously, but it's fucking huge.
Yeah, I'll just stick with the Oods. I like the Oods because they're nice. And I mean, it's a shame what happened to the Oods, but they have their brains in their hands and they sing beautiful music. I will take an Ood over that giant spider any day of the week.
Hmm. Provided you, it's also classic Who as well, so anything goes.
Yeah. I would even take a Suntaran other than that big spider. Maybe not a weeping angel, though.
True. I wouldn't want to take a weeping angel either. Mm.
I can't remember. What's the rules? Is it if you blink or is it if you just turn away from them?
It's any
Like you don't have
sign
to
of
blink.
if you turn away, you blink, turning away, they'll move.
Oh. Did you just get a chill down your back? Because I did.
No, I don't think I did.
Oh,
But on
oh, I
the
did.
on the topic of Doctor Who, on this very season, I've actually interviewed someone from Doctor Who.
Have you really? Who is it?
Sophie Aldred from the seventh Doctor season, who played Ace McShane, the only
Oh, how was
companion.
she?
Ah, she's fantastic. The only companion in history to literally beat the living shit out of the Dalek.
Nice.
Yes, I will stand by that fact until I'm proven wrong.
Mm-hmm. She
And
smacked the shit out of that Dalek.
yeah, she was great. She told me a lot about her time and all the fun stuff she did on the show. So yeah, it's great getting the insider knowledge after all these years, admiring her
Oh yeah.
character. And for her listening, Ace was my first ever Who crush. So I never told her that, but now the world knows.
And now they know.
No, they
Now you
know.
know. Now you know. Thank you so
Oh,
much for having me, by the way. Sorry we went off on another tangent.
but that's fun. You know, that's fun. What's on for your day?
I've got a bunch of videos to film and I've got writing to finish and I've got a couple of emails to get back to. But yeah, busy, busy, busy day for me. And it's just as well that it's a work from home day because it's horrible outside. What about you?
I just, like I said, came home from work. I'll probably be watching The Simpsons, no doubt, when I get back in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe play some records with my headphones on. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
show you this, but I have Marillion material. Fish, I know, is a very iconic singer from Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a copy of Peter Gabriel from Genesis, very madman type of style with costumes and face paint and everything. So if there's anyone in the family who's heard of Marillion, let me say fucking thank you. Those guys are
Oh,
awesome.
absolutely. I think
Another,
did you say Marillion?
yes, Marillion,
Yes. Oh, here's a fun story for you. My sister was named after guess the song.
Kaylee.
Yep.
That
Kaylee, is it too late to say I'm sorry? And Kaylee, can we get it together again? Oh, that's such a brilliant song. But yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of Kayleys in the world that were named after that song.
yeah, if they happen to be, obviously the parents happen to be Marillion fans, that's probably the main reason why. Because
Mhm.
where I am in Australia, it's fucking underground. Like it's like almost like a secret society.
Do you guys like Marillion? Shh. Shh.
Don't tell them. It's a secret.
Put your Genesis records away. Put them away.
Genesis they'll accept because obviously Phil Collins, but
Yeah,
Marillion,
yeah.
no. King Crimson, no. Rush, no. Jethro Tull,
I'm
maybe.
joking. Rush are like the. Oh, I love Rush. We're going to go off on another tangent if we keep doing this, so I'll just end it there. I love Rush. I love Rush. I love
No,
Dream Theater as well.
no. I want to talk about Rush because I have a massive obsession with Rush. Sorry, but you've
Oh,
been
me too.
born in
And Dream Theater. I love
you've
Rush
been
and I love Dream Theater.
you've been born into this, and you're not going anywhere.
Yes, I love Rush. But yeah, the you don't really hear a lot of people who like Rush nowadays or Dream Theater. Because some people don't know who Dream Theater are, and I'm like, what?
I know Dream
They're
Theater did for the 40th anniversary box set for Farewell to Kings. They did a cover of Xanadu.
Oh, yes. 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 They are like just one of the best prog metal bands I've ever heard because they're so superior in their instruments and you kind of have to be with that genre. But I keep saying it, but they're like, let's have a 20-minute solo in this song just because we can.
Mm,
I love it.
or you nail Pert, and halfway through YYZ, you bring out a solo.
Oh yeah, instead because you start with like the and then if that wasn't like amazing enough, they're like, do you know what? We're not finished.
Neil just comes out
Incredible.
starting the rhythm method as it is named tightly. Yeah. Other than that, Rush is also underground here, but thankfully I know the group. They know me, so yeah.
Incredible. So, what are your closing statements for today's podcast?
Well, obviously you've told me a lot about Scotland, your music. We've tangent on a lot of things, which is really fun. You can find the podcast on Anchor FM. You'll find the show on 94.7 The Pulse. Snippets of the show will be played live alongside my program, Grooves on the Record, every Wednesday night on 6 p.m. Tune in for that, if you will. And the video, obviously, this interview will be on YouTube under the Bluebells of England. So find the icon of me with the part Aussie, part Scotland flag with the big country icons, and that is the Bluebells of England.
We did it. We did
I
it. Thank you,
was,
everybody, for tuning in. Have a blessed day. And I thank you for having me.
you're welcome. My pleasure. See ya.